going to record this call, but I apologize. From now on, this call will be recorded and then will be shared to you along with this presentation. So mentioning, just sum up what we've been discussing, was that the Japanese people like to have at least 3 times of meetups before a confession, and they tend to be very cautious about becoming an official girlfriend boyfriend. Yeah, there are people who prefer to have at least 10 dates.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody can relate to this, but not myself. Not really.
I don't think I'll be willing to wait until 10.
10 times. Yeah, 10 is too many. And
Too slow.
Too slow.
Too slow. Okay.
But that's the cultural difference right there. Yeah, another interesting cultural difference here is that the Japanese people still find it normal for the men to take the initiatives and then do the confession, while the woman wants to be confessed to. I guess they can relate to why there are more male users than female users in the 8 mainstream matching apps, OMI, Pairs, and etc. So please note the term matching apps from here. Is that we tend to make it more Japanese, that in Japan, they don't call the dating apps. They call it matching apuri, right? So that's matching apps in Japanese. So data AI also shows that there are way more dominant male user number than the female users.
Right.
And that also leads to the subscription plans of these matching apps.
So would you able to say, can you say that since the culture is man has to do the confession, like man do the effort more, is that maybe the reason why they have to pay more?
We can say that,
Could be.
definitely. So by average, men are paying about $30 to $35 a month, while female users can use the apps for free.
Lucky us.
Unlucky me. Well, it's just how the business in Japanese matching app industry works. So the men are more willing to make their confession to their likable partners, while the women are naturally just waiting for possible interest to reach them.
Or it could also be that there's more male users that businesses try to take advantage of them. Could be another reason why as well.
Yes.
Okay, let's look at more information about the subscription plans in Japan.
Yes. So you can see the zeros in the woman part and no zero for the men part. Yeah, so when you compare this subscription plans to the global services, they don't have different plans for whether it's men or women. They offer an equal subscription plan regardless of the gender. But going back one slide, there's a clear distinction between the gender. So I think it's an important note for dating, global dating services when they reach the Japanese market. So in summary, it takes time and consideration before declaration of love or confession between the couples in Japan. And the norm is still men doing the confession, while woman wants to be reached out. And the most matching apps in Japan require monthly subscription fees for men, but usually no fee or subscription price for female users. Yeah. Any questions so far? Any interesting, findings or insights that you guys found from this, beginning part?
I'm also curious if it's the same in their countries as well. So we have participants from different parts of the world, and quite curious how the dating scene is
Yeah.
in their countries as well. Because in my country, it's quite difficult as well. I'm from the Philippines, by the way, but I've lived in Japan for almost 10 years. And yeah, I'd say Philippines is quite conservative as well. I think it's the same then. Like men do the confession more
Mm.
and
Woman waits.
women waits, yes. And while we're waiting about the responses of our participants, I'd like to share too that the Valentine's in Japan, it's the women giving gifts to men during Valentine's Day.
Mm.
And then we have the White Day on March.
Yes. March
Yes.
14th.
Mhm. Coming up soon. Where the men
Are you giving me
give
pressure?
gifts. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So that's just a trivia.
Yeah.
But
So leave us any notes that you know if you guys have any questions or insights that you'd like to share. So moving on, we will talk about the matching apps overview in Japan.
yes. So before anything else, I'd like to clarify some terminologies. So Alan mentioned a bit about the machingu term already. So I just want to share these two keywords to the IK and machingu. So the I literally means to meet, and then K is system. So usually this keyword, the IK, is connotates online dating site or app,
Mhm.
or specifically for meeting up the person,
Mm.
finding person and then meeting up. So it's mainly leaning towards to the casual dating and the fun side
Mhm.
of it, where the matchingu, or just different pronunciation of matching,
Mhm.
it's not necessarily for meet up. So it could be for matching as just a friend or a lover, marriage, or also for fun. So from now on, we're gonna call the dating app matching apps in this presentation. All right. So actually during the COVID-19 restrictions, the demand for dating app matching apps gain more recognition. So you can see here on the Google Trends that it really spiked up, and the IK are having more like shady impressions. So people are uh, looking for more reputable way to meet people.
Yeah.
So next thing is also to differentiate each keywords.
Yeah.
So that the IK is more of the old style, and then
Just for fun.
just for fun,
Yeah.
not much privacy as well. And now the trending keyword is the matching apps, which
Yeah.
is more serious. There's
Mhm.
more privacy, age verification.
I think it's the highly secure is what brings the matching apps
Mhm,
more important to the Japanese users.
mhm, mhm.
Mhm.
Very true. Yes. And just to look at the awareness of matching service or matching apps in Japan, you can see that there are more younger people who are, users of these apps. And is a recent study as well that the matching apps became ranked one
Mm.
into the top places and opportunities where Japanese people find their partners. And another study is that from last year, it was work in
Wow.
school where they find their current lover. But this year, no, last year, actually, 2023, it's already the matching app.
Wow.
Mhm. And so this thing actually, so as a person who grew up in a quite conservative country, it was kind of a culture shock for me
Mm.
how my Japanese friends can just easily like blatantly say that they met their current partner in through applications. And
Wow.
yeah, so well yeah. What I want to say is just that it's kind of like normalized here now to use the matching apps to find people. So how about in Korea? Is it the same too?
Yeah. It was a quite of a shock to me as well
Mhm.
because this so-called matching apps in Korea are still considered to be a little shady.
Mhm.
And the purpose of using the matching apps in Korea are still considered as just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
So when you meet somebody through matching app, it's not a crime or it's not a taboo in it or anything. But people share the common idea that apps or the relationship through an app is quite shallow. It doesn't turn to be serious.
Mm-hmm.
But in Japan, as we've showed you all the results of the surveys and the research data, that most couples in Japan met their partner through these matching apps.
Mm-hmm.
So how they react to these apps are quite different than most of the cultures, I think.
Mm-hmm. I guess there's more opportunity for
Yes,
dating apps to penetrate the Japanese market.
indeed.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, just categorizing the matching apps in Japan, we have this very organized chart here from casual to serious, and
Mhm.
also differentiated by age. So we have 4 categories here. Most casual is by category of just making friends and not allowed to meet people.
Mhm.
We have the looking for love category, who's looking for relationships, and another looking for love for marriage hunting and just marriage hunting, strictly for marriage hunting apps.
Yeah. So from this graph or the chart, we can tell that the distribution of the matching apps in Japan based on the purpose of using the app, right? Do I want to make friends? Do I want to find a partner that's not too serious? Am I looking for a partner pretty serious enough that we can consider a marriage? Or am I looking straight for a marriage partner?
Mhm.
So I noticed, this is quite a big difference compared to other cultures, dating apps. Because I noticed when I did this research, most like top 20 dating apps in like European countries, can be distributed to with whom do I want to, start dating. Like dating apps for Muslims, dating apps for Christian, dating apps for vegan.
Mhm.
So that's I think that's an important note there to uh, to state. So when you try to reach the Japanese market, especially from the matching apps perspective, it might be interesting to maybe use keyword that highlights the purpose of this app
Mm.
and like what kind of relationship you are seeking after. So yeah,
Really
please
good
take a note that.
insight. And yeah, love related apps are most popular among the Gen Zs or the ones in their 20s. So these top 4 most popular apps are for those purposes. And marriage related apps are popular for the 30s.
And 40s,
Mhm.
even.
30s and 40s as
Yeah.
well. And so yeah, this is Alan's point earlier that, it's categorized for what, like with whom am I dating,
Mhm.
the purpose.
Yeah.
So you can see here that a lot of women actually use matching apps with strong focus on marriage.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it speaks about the Japanese culture too. They value marriage very dearly and seriously.
Mm. And just to share as well, among the top apps, uh, right now it's still dominated by the Japanese apps. So I think probably because they still don't know why, the things that we're sharing here. That's why we're sharing it with
Yes.
you guys. And yeah, I guess Japan is quite a challenging market to enter. Yes, that's why we're here.
Yes.
And yep, there are, oh, this is quite interesting too. So more than 70% of users are using more than one
Yeah.
matching app because they said that it increases the chance of meeting someone.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So yeah, remember the difference of the purpose and with whom. So up to this point, the Japanese people were using matching apps for their sole purpose of using the matching app. But from now on, with the dating apps or matching apps from your side, you can, focus on with whom that, you can start dating with your apps, with your services. That way, the Japanese people are so used to using more than one, matching app, so they can, try, something new, something, that they haven't, experienced yet.
Mhm. Okay. So I guess you guys have been waiting for this part as well.
Yes.
Let's talk about keyword trends in the matching app.
Yeah.
Okay. So keyword analyzing the keywords here, we have the core keyword for each category. So we have for friends making, chat or killing time. For meetup, it's fastest or no need for matching. For casual, we have date and also food.
Yeah.
And for love and marriage activity, it's true love and
Yeah.
serious. Mhm. So yeah, just a recap, just a summarization preview. And as for the most frequent used keywords as well, we have this four top keywords here. We have the I. So not to be confused with the IK. So the IK has kind of like a negative connotation, but the I actually just means meet up.
Yeah, it's a general word.
Mhm. So yeah, don't be confused with that word. It's still an important keyword for ASO. And of course, the matching apuri, konkatsu, which means marriage activity, and koikatsu, which means love activity. It's interesting that the marriage activity is higher than
Then
love activity. It really
yes.
shows that there's quite a demand for such apps. And moving forward to the by categories, you can see here for making friends, we have killing time, chat, and with someone. For the IK or the meetup, you can see that the patience is slow, is short,
Yes.
fastest, and now and
They
no
want to
matching
meet somebody
required.
tonight
Yes.
when they start use the app.
And for love related, I think it's interesting to mention about Gohan.
Yeah. Well, it's a wide terminology that, kind of embraces food in general, but it just means rice in Japanese. So I guess, date e- is equal to having, rice together.
Very romantic.
Yes. That's the Japanese culture, I think.
I would love to have some rices. Anyway, so yeah, we have the true love and serious as well for marriage keywords.
Yes.
Okay. And just to take note as well, when searching for matchingu or matching, these are the keywords that are searched or suggested together with the keywords. So we have here completely free, popular, and friend. So it means that there's such high demand for this kind of apps. But
Yep. But as you know, from ASO perspective, using free as a keyword can be a little risky, or has a risk of being rejected from the store.
so just be careful about
Yes, we just wanted to share that there are quite of demand of free dating app.
that. Mhm.
How about the creative trends?
Interesting. Very culturally biased.
So in summary, so a lot of Japanese matching apps use the Japanese traditional elements like not in their creatives. And another, their traditional idea of gender is used in the creative by the color contrast. And there are trends of highlighting how many matches each app, has, succeeded. And there is a certain trend of, using the number one a lot in their screenshots. Number one, just like, mentioning free or, in the metadata, is in a gray area from a perspective, but I guess in Japan is a little more, I guess, tolerant in this. But just be mindful of when you try to use the number one keyword there. And another interesting point is that most screenshots highlight the photos of women. It goes back to the point where the men are the paying party
Mm-hmm.
instead of woman. So I guess, it is simple, simple logic.
Mm-hmm.
We need to draw more men users.
Mm-hmm.
What do we need to do? We put attractive women in our creatives. There will be other aspects there, but we believe that's the core reason behind this creative.
Strategic.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So there are the matching apps just for finding your friends. They are creatives, as you can see from the examples on the screen. You are using the chat balloons, so they try to avoid indicating the that these apps are not mainly for make finding a lover. But for the apps that invite users to find their lovers, use the color contrast. Blue, guess which gender that represents?
Mm-hmm. No.
Hard question, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
How about red or pink?
Mm.
Yeah. As many of you could guess, blue represents male, while red and pink represents female. This is an interesting example from
Mhm.
Jamie.
So actually, I went to an onsen or a hot spring just last weekend, and this is my Japanese friend pranking my foreign friends to just choose whichever color that they like, and which is quite funny because there's no like label on these doors.
Not
And
even a human figure that you see on a toilet.
right, which is quite dangerous because once you step in there, you'll see,
Yeah.
you know, things that you shouldn't see if
There's-
you enter the wrong door.
Right.
But yeah, what I want to say is just the colors are easily understandable. In Japan, I guess
Right.
if it's red, it's for female. If it's blue, it's for male.
Yes. Yeah,
Mhm.
adding more, traditional or culturally accepted elements behind these creatives. The knots
Mhm.
represent a tie with another person, and also a red knot in Japanese culture represents destiny.
Mhm.
So we can, easily find the knot or string-like creatives in the icons. And it's I think it's an interesting note that most of the matching apps in Japan are using the portrait, the vertical screenshots rather than horizontal landscape screenshots.
Mhm.
Another point, we are going back to the point number one. So this matching app with is highlighting that they being number one matching app pairs as well. And so there are, this is about, the creatives highlighting the women's, but, as you can see, there are other apps with using number ones as well.
Mhm.
So I guess, going back to the point where we compare the AIK apps and the matching apps, the Japanese people why the matching apps become more popular was because it's more secure, more
Mhm.
trustworthy, more reputable.
Mhm.
So I guess it adds up to this why the creatives use number one so many.
Mhm. And maybe also the reason why they use female images as well.
Right.
So if this woman uses this app, then probably it increases the trustworthiness level as well of these apps.
Right.
Mhm.
So using all of this, attractive woman can grow more male users, but also it can give the idea of trustworthiness
Mhm.
to the possible woman users as well. Yep. So not just number one, another, and the Japanese creatives in among the matching apps, and also in other categories as well. We often find that the Japanese screenshots and the creatives use the numbers
Mhm.
many times.
Yes.
How many couples that the app could make it successful in the months or in the day, or how short it takes
Mhm.
to find a new match,
Yeah.
things like that. So I guess the Japanese people are very data analytic minded.
Mhm.
All of them are marketers, maybe. Yeah, so we would like to compare the creatives of Japan to Korea and America. So we can note that the Japanese, creatives are more high quality. Well, the other, countries' creatives too are high quality as well, but the Japanese, ones look like they are like movie posters,
The
right?
photos.
Yeah, very like melodramatic, photos, and it almost looks like, it's a intro, video a
It's
capture
true.
of a drama or a movie, like we are starring this actress and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. While in Korea, it shows more of the like scenes of datings when after meet somebody else, and America is becoming more very practical. It focuses on the features of the apps, like how you can chat with new person, how the matching happens, and things like that. So I think it shows very interesting cultural differences among these countries. Yeah. So that was the creative trends that we could find among the matching apps. Another point we briefly want to mention from AS perspective is review.
Mhm.
So among the review, many Japanese users said the apps were good because they could find a partner, because they could get married, or because they find it very just
Mhm.
justice that equal price for
Prices
the
equal.
man and woman. Meanwhile, for the negative side, people said it was bad because they suspect fraud. They only could find many gold diggers, or the price was too expensive. So the fraud and the gold diggers, going back to the point where the Japanese people, consider value trustworthiness
Mhm.
when it comes down to finding all right matching apps. Yeah. So this is the last part. We
Yes.
want to briefly, talk about some of the marketing trends around the matching apps. So, when it's not just about the matching apps, but in general, how big services, big mobile games maybe would do in Japan to
Mhm.
promote their services, right?
So actually, in Japan, the TV commercials for dating sites are regulated, and it was just last year, September, that it
Yeah.
was lifted, and we were able to see that as soon as it was lifted, like right after, like
Mm,
the matching apps already released the TV commercial in
right.
Japan. Mhm. And my favorite one. So in Japan too, which is a very futuristic country, they also use AI ads for the matching apps, and it's actually very effective.
Right.
Even though, like,
Wow.
you can see the picture, and it also gathered 7 times more, or 3 to 7 times more for
Women users,
women users, and
2 times more, male users.
yeah. And regarding the reason why such number increased, even though you can see in the picture, it's quite surprising for me. But the reason why is that it became very viral in Japan, especially on Twitter or X,
Mm,
that it gathered women as well. And it was also mentioned that some women also are quite interested into otaku guys. So it also like enticed them to download this app.
and by the way, what does the otaku mean?
Otaku are people who has distinct hobby,
Yeah. So
I
if
guess.
you love football, you
Mhm.
can be considered as football otaku. But in Japan, it usually refers to the anime lovers
Mhm.
and manga lovers.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah, so it's to me like even though it's made out of AI and it's kind of funny stuff and stuff, but still, like it went viral, and just because it went viral, people felt it's trustworthy.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's one, important note. And I also wanted to note here, just going back to the point where I mentioned about Japanese apps being more of a more of for the purpose,
Mhm.
while the global apps more for with whom
Mm.
I'm meeting with. This otakoi, has the connotation where you can find someone who share the
Same.
specific hobby
Mhm.
that you have. So it's pointing to with whom I can date with this matching app.
Right.
So I think, there are still needs for those, specific, personal, hobbies, personal interest. So I think you guys can consider this fact and, when upon approaching the Japanese market.
And another interesting thing is that, so in Japan, the birth rate is actually decreasing,
Mm,
sadly. So the government and also the matching apps as well are, really pushing through matching. So to support the dating,
mm.
this app Pairs started a promotion that they give actual money.
Wow.
So this was in Shinjuku, and they just posted like they call it otoshitama. So these are envelopes with money. Like they usually give it out during New Year in Japan. So it's like
Ah.
to support, it's a support money for you. It's a gift money for you. So they give, they just
Wishing
posted
you a
it.
good luck to
Yes.
find the right partner.
Yes.
So with our app,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a interesting way to do a paid or the reward incentivized
Mm-hmm.
marketing.
Very culturally related marketing.
Yeah.
And to summarize it all, so the recognition and acceptance of using dating apps is widely accepted already in Japan. It's and still on the rise. So we want to say that there are more opportunities for dating apps, I guess, to enter the Japanese
Yes.
markets, right? And also the term matchingu or matching is gaining more recognition as a more trustworthy way to meet people rather than the IK. But don't confuse it with the word DI as it's still important for ASO.
Okay.
And the creatives, I'd say, is very culturally biased. So deep research is actually important to be able to, increase your conversion rates in Japan. Okay, that's it for the ASO, and we go to our next part, which is the free coffee chat.
I noticed there was a chat coming in. Just yeah.
Mhm.
Do you have some advice or hacks to make expert concert live app
Including chat.
with dating expert? Oh, relationship advice, kind of relationship expert, couples expert, Japan market.
Mm.
So if I'm understanding correctly, so an app that will
Gives.
connects a user
Mhm.
to a dating expert.
Mm.
I think it does make sense
Mhm.
in Japan because the development of AI
Mhm.
is actually using AI. These matching apps in Japan are trying to add a feature that's called like matching helper, matching supporter
Mhm.
with AI.
Mhm.
So what they do is that when you start using a matching app, like they ask you a tons of questions, right?
Mhm.
Would you rather stay at home during the weekdays? Would you rather go to the mountain over ocean during the holiday and things like that? So the AIs would, analyze all those elements, all the answers that you would answer, and then would connect to the right partner. But at the same time, the AI, phrase generator,
Mhm.
generates a right sentence,
Mhm.
right message
Mhm.
to start a conversation with or to continue the conversation.
Mhm.
So I guess it's not exactly real time like expert, but still we can find some needs among the Japanese users who want to get consulted
Mhm.
with finding a right man
Mhm.
of approaching right to the partner.
And I just want to add to actually, while I was doing the research for this, I found this really big and popular website, which is called Matching App University.
Wow.
It exists. And the sole purpose is to help people how to use matching app, how to actually be successful in matching. So I think it
Oh,
would be really
so how
celebrated
to
in
write
Japan.
your intro paragraph?
Yes.
Which photo you should use for your profile?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
How many dates until you should confess?
Yeah,
It's
just
stuff.
like the Japanese love hack website. There you should date 3 times before you ask out, and when's the right time to hold hand and things like that. So I guess Maxim, you're on the right point. It'd be
Mhm.
interesting if you can actually match an actual expert or a bachelor or a master who got the degree from the matching app university
Mhm.
to be online
Mhm.
24/7 inside of the app.
Why not?
Yeah.
And we have
Another
another
question.
question. What are the latest trends in visuals for dating apps in Japan? What kind of conversion tactics do we generally follow?
Okay, we can go back to a couple of slides for the creative trends. So I guess we can stay here. So I guess you can our advice for finding the latest trends is the app stores.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to be the textbook guy, but that's where people try the A/B test. That's where you can find the Japanese app publishers and providers make their new creatives. So you can go to the app stores and type in matching or just matching app. Even in English, you can find the apps as the search result and then look at the creative. And you know, please allow me to introduce our tool, ASO tool, ASO Index. It provides a app explorer feature where you guys can it's free, it's a free feature and you can jump in and then do make the search there. So it's going to give you the exact same result as you will see on the app stores, but it will be just more you know easily understood, more easily compare. You can easily compare the creatives of the search results. And from there, you can find out, okay, the Japanese apps not uh, are using the word number one a lot. Their color tone is based more is more light than dark. Their first screenshot tends to be the woman's photo or it's just a poster like design. So you gain all these research result and then analyze the creatives and then find the key elements. From there, you can make an inference, make an assumption. Okay, the Japanese people might like, number ones or a shortcut, woman in their first screenshot. And then you make a direction for 2 or 3 sets of creatives and then run an A/B test if that works for you. So I think the conversion tactics in Japan it may not be so different than what you would do for doing ASO in other countries, except that for the matching apps as we discussed today, there are some cultural preferences, just like using the nods and the colors and yeah, using the woman's photo can speak more to the paying parties in Japan. I hope this answered your question.
And if there are other questions too, we have some time to accommodate more questions.
Yeah. So it doesn't have to be a dating app or matching app related. So if you had any questions related to the Japanese culture or the Japanese marketing, you are welcome to ask us.
And also, let me just remind you guys that we're also giving a free ASO audit if you have an app. So it doesn't have to be a dating app as well. We will do an ASO audit for your app in the either Japanese market, Korean market, or US as well.
Mhm.
So yeah, don't miss this chance.
Yes. We will share this presentation to all the participants of the session, and then you guys are welcome to, give us a reply. I want a free AS audit. We can do that for you. Yeah. Any other questions, guys? Any interesting notes about your, country's culture regarding?
yeah. I am curious about that.
Can you make confession with your partner?
Is
Maybe.
confession still a thing in Korea?
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
But, making it like, say public is almost taboo.
Oh,
Yeah.
in Philippines, we like it public.
Okay.
Okay.
So we have another question. Does anime style screenshots for casual games for Japan works? Or maybe there are other ways to find that. It's a very good question. Anime style screenshots for casual games would work if your game has anime-like characters.
Mhm.
I think, just because, Japanese people love animes and mangas, would not mean that, you have to take the risk of, entirely changing the visuals of your games or your services. So if your, game has the 3D characters or the concept, you might as well just maintain it. But there are some other interesting points about the Japanese creative trends. Uh, is that they like to see more information from the creatives. So
Mhm.
like more text, more in-game screenshots,
Yes.
and a little more, let's say, kind of crazy effect. Like, instead of being simple, they like it, very like kind of shiny.
Mhm.
So, Rodion, I can, reply with by emails with some examples.
Mhm.
So, are you guys, familiar with the term pachinko in Japan?
Mm.
So it's kind of like very casual casino in Japan. But how they do their promotion, how they make their creatives are quite related to the casual game creative trends in Japan.
Mm.
So I know those casinos, use the famous, anime characters, IPs there, but they also use like Mario sometimes.
Mhm.
They are not anime-like. They are just famous IPs. So in summary, you can focus on the context and the overall worldview and concept of your game. And then from there, if you can, simply adjust to the Japanese cultural preference, you can do that. But other visual, concept that you can also consider is that, the Japanese people like to see more information about the services on the creatives.
Yeah, that's the reason why if you actually try to visit a Japanese website, you can see like there's a lot of things in there. So it's not a UI UX failure. It's just that's how Japanese people like it. They like
Mhm.
information. They don't like that much space because they would feel that there's like something you're hiding from me,
Mm.
kind of thing. So yeah.
As we mentioned about, the Japanese people like the trustworthiness of the matching apps.
Hmm.
I guess, the informations, you know, represent the trust of your
Right.
services.
Mhm.
Hope
You're welcome. Do you know difference between US, Japan dating market, LTV, under
Okay.
KPI difference?
This one I need further research because, LTV tends to be quite, an important KPI, but, it's definitely something, we have to like, dig in deeper.
Not on top of our heads
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, but, our assumption is that the Japan's, LTV can be higher than that of US
Mm.
because, like we discussed in the session, there are more than 70% of the matching app users in Japan who are using more than one matching apps, and then there are more male users, and the male users have to pay to use the matching apps. So I guess that's gonna give us more possibility
Mm-hmm.
to for the Japanese users to pay more and then have higher LTV
Mm-hmm.
than the other countries, maybe not just the US. Yeah, I will, yeah, I will try my best to give you a better, details of this against this, question. So, but hope, this was helpful.
Is there any special content that can only be found on Japanese dating apps?
Interesting. Yep. As far as I can think of, is the psychology test.
Ah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys familiar with MBTI? Myers-Briggs test of like introvert something. So it tells you whether you are an introvert or extrovert, or you are a sensing person or intuition person. And well, Koreans like this psychology test too, but the Japanese app that's called WID offers many different this characteristic and psychology test, preference test. And then when you finish the test one day, you give 10 free like buttons.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that thing. And is there any note you want to make, Jamie?
Oh, there's I'm looking at it now, and there's actually the popular apps do have enough content, enough events that they're offering.
So like special chance for I mean like suggesting a new right dating spot for your first dates. And another content, well, it's just a concept of an entire matching app in Japan, is that there is a service where you can meet someone without looking at a photo, without looking at their intro, looking at their like hobbies. So it's just you are pretty much trusting the AI match system.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to see that person in real life, only in real life. Yes. I hope that answered your question.
Thank you for your question.
I think we have 4 more minutes. So maybe if there's any like 1 or 2 more questions, we can answer that.
And I just want to share this marketing tactic. This tactic. So in Japan, even the government is pushing the dating in Japan.
Oh, that's true.
So
Yeah. We are expecting to have a Japanese government official AI matching app, I think by
In
the
Tokyo.
late 2024.
And a lot of like cities are also doing different kinds of marketing. Like Kyoto last year did the VR dating. And actually out of the 10, like male and female, there were 3 or 4 successful couples afterwards.
Wow, that's a high conversion.
Yeah. So they do, the
Almost
VR,
half.
and then they go to like a Kyoto,
I guess-
scenery, and they do the
I guess Japan trusts the machine more than their own guts, I guess.
So why government did this? So yeah, they really, the population in Japan is really decreasing right now. The trend is like that. So they really want to help the country to,
Get married
have
and
family.
give birth to children.
Yes. So yeah. So that's the reason why we'd like to share this information as well, is that there's actually a lot of opportunities for dating apps to penetrate to the Japanese
Yeah,
market.
maybe you can connect the Japanese person to international personnel with an app.
So yeah,
maybe.
okay.
I guess, it's about that time. So thanks for joining us. I hope you guys enjoyed this call, this coffee break. I
Coffee break.
hope this generated some great ideas for you. And we are open to any further consultation or questions. So please, keep it tuned. We'll get back to you with more latest trends of the Japanese market.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you very much. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day.
Wow. Confetti.
Yeah. And we will see you guys later or maybe next month in another, Foster Coffee Break.
Yes. See
Thank you very
next
much.
month.
Thanks for joining us.
When we're disappearing.
Okay.
See you. Should I just end the call?